Hi guys, it's Allie. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. Today, let's talk about getting ready to move to assisted living. If you have a loved one that is moving into a personal care home or assisted living, you might be wondering, what do I need to bring with me? I've worked in communities where people dressed up every day and wore jewelry every day, and I've worked in communities where everyone was dressed down. The men wore blue jeans and overalls, and the women definitely were dressed casually. So some of it's going to depend on your local area and how everyone else there dresses. But let's talk about your loved one. So I always advise that people find their loved one's favorite clothes. And you know what that is, especially if a person has memory issues, they tend to go back to the same outfits over and over. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite stories is there was this lady that she loved her purple jumpsuit. It was a purple sweatsuit, basically, and she loved it. And she loved it so much that when it was being washed or when she couldn't wear it because it was dirty, she just had a fit. So her daughter actually went out and bought 4 more of those jumpsuits so that she could wear a purple sweatsuit every single day. And so after her mom passed on, she told me, she said, I'm going to burn those purple sweatsuits. I never want to see another one again. But it made her mom happy. So in her case, her mom was in memory care. It didn't matter. Her friends were not going to make fun of her for wearing the same thing every day. So I do advise people, and I always have, not to go out and buy a bunch of new clothes. So whether your loved one has a lot of memory problems or just a few, having a bunch of new clothes can be very confusing. They might think that those clothes belong to somebody else, or that the laundry was brought back incorrectly, or they're in the wrong room. So I would not go out and buy a ton of new things. I would actually go through the things that they wear and choose what's in good condition and what is comfortable for them and what they love. And of course, you can put some new items in there, maybe some sweaters and things, and you can put their name in the tag so that they can see that those things do belong to them. But generally, the majority of the clothing should belong to them already, and this should be familiar to them. Okay, so beyond that, I always used to tell people that you're going to have laundry done at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, depending on the community. So you really don't need more than about 10 outfits. And I would include a bunch of light sweaters, maybe 4 or 5 light sweaters or jackets, because seniors tend to get cold no matter what the temperature is outside. And of course, we know that if it's a hot environment, we're going to run the air conditioner inside. So definitely some sweatshirts and some heavier things to wear over their clothes for layering. And you're going to want to have comfortable shoes, slip-on shoes if possible, shoes that don't have to be tied if possible. It just makes life a little bit easier for your loved one. As far as toiletries, all the things that they normally use at home, again, try to keep it as familiar as possible. If they've always used Colgate, try to stick with Colgate. Just try to keep things as much like they were at home. Now, speaking of things at home, a lot of times families will go in and they will try to bring every stick of furniture that they can possibly fit into the room. I don't recommend that. If your loved one does not need a walker or a wheelchair, they might one day. So you want to leave enough area in the room to be able to negotiate that area. And they want to be able to have friends over or guests in their room and for it not to feel too crowded. So definitely pick the favorite items. And, you know, maybe if they're sleeping in a king size bed and they're by themselves, they don't need a king size bed. Let's just be real. It's time to downsize. So if they have a queen or a full-size bed that's going to fit in the room that they're moving into and it's already in the house, I'd probably go with that. A lot of times families will want to go out and buy all new furniture and make it look like this showroom, which is understandable, right? Because it would be fun to move into a place that was all new. But if you've got memory problems, it's going to make people feel uncomfortable. It's going to make people feel like this is not where I'm supposed to be. I don't recognize this furniture. I think I'm at a hotel. And why am I here? And why can't I go home? And I don't understand. But if people have their favorite chair, the television that they can still work, their favorite linens on the bed, and their clothes in the closet, it's going to make more sense to them if they're confused, especially, it's going to make more sense to them that they are where they're supposed to be. So I would definitely use familiar furniture if you can. Now, let's be real. If you've got incontinence issues, nobody wants you to drag in a recliner that smells like pee. Nobody. So if there are incontinence issues with your loved one, then I would get a new recliner. Absolutely. So common sense reigns, but as much as possible, bring familiar things to hang on the walls, familiar towels that they've used over the years. Just try to keep it as similar to their own lifestyle as possible. People have asked me, should I get fake jewelry to take to assisted living? Yep, I would. If they've got an inexpensive ring that they love and that your family is okay if that ring goes missing, that's fine. But if you've got a $10,000 ring, or you have, maybe your grandmother has a wedding band that she has worn for 50 or 60 years, that's really hard. You don't want to lose that. And the thing is, in memory care especially, but even in assisted living, when people have some memory issues, it's very easy for them to take those rings off and for them to go missing. I had one lady that used to always wrap her very expensive diamond ring that had a ton of diamonds on it. She would like wrap it up inside a tissue and she would hide it. And one time we found it was in the bottom of her wastebasket under a bunch of Kleenex and things like that. And it very well could have gotten thrown away if we didn't have an amazing housekeeper who knew where she hid things. So speaking of hiding things, let's say that you have replaced the jewelry with something that isn't real. They've got, it's fine to have like just a plain gold wedding band, but if you're going to have, diamonds and stuff, I would probably do the fake. I would never bring a Rolex watch into any community. I don't care how nice the community is. They don't need it. And even if they insist on bringing checkbooks, I would have them bring checkbooks from accounts that have been closed already. Just telling you, that's what I would do, given the experience that I've had. So, because I realize that even with memory problems, a lot of times you want the person to feel as independent as possible. And I do always tell people, you're moving to an apartment. I never say you're moving to assisted living, you're going to a personal care home. I say you are getting your own apartment because this way you can be as independent as possible, but there'll be someone there who will cook the meals and who will clean the bathroom, someone who's going to change the linens on your bed. I wish I could live there, but it's an apartment with services is what it is. And that's really going to be the best way for them to accept it with dignity and feel like they're moving to a place that'll be good for them, but not embarrassing at all. So definitely encourage you to call it an apartment and not a room. Never, ever, ever call it a nursing home. Even if they are moving to a nursing home, I still wouldn't call it that. I would still call it senior living, an apartment. I still would. If they still like to write letters, I would make sure that they had a couple books of stamps and some cards and a bunch of addresses for their loved ones, whether it's in an address book or a notebook, so that they can stay connected to people that they love. I would go over the activities calendar with your loved one and talk to them about the things they might like to do and let them decide. Now, if they say no to everything, okay, I get it. Maybe they just want to have some independence. But if they are interested in some of those things, you can highlight the events that you think that they would enjoy and encourage them to go. It's like sending a kid to college. You tell them, listen, you might enjoy going to some of these activities that you never thought you would enjoy. So maybe give it a shot. The more that you're positive, the more positive they will be. Your loved one is expecting you to drop by at any given point. You might find that they don't participate in activities, that they just watch the front door all the time. And I saw that many times. So it's really better to have a plan and that your caregivers at the community know the plan. You can get a white wipe-off board and write on it the days that you're going to be there. Mom, I'll see you on Sunday after lunch. That way the team knows when to expect you, and they can remind your loved one, you know, your daughter is coming on Sunday after lunch. So you don't need to sit by the window and watch for her. You can come on down to story time, or to come down to exercise, or let's go to Walmart, because if she comes, we will let her know where you are. Do not plan on spending the night. Y'all, please. If you come and you spend the night, unless your parent is extremely ill and really needs that attention to get over the hump, and I understand if that's the case, but if your loved one is moving from a home with you or their own home, please don't spend the night with them in the beginning. They need to get used to depending on the staff. And while you're visiting, the staff is not going to come in and check on them in the same way that they will if you're not there. They are trying to give you personal space, and a lot of times you will feel like, oh my gosh, no one's ever going to check on my dad because I was here and they never came in. They never came in probably because you were there. So your loved one needs to get used to depending on the team. So definitely, unless it is a special occasion, unless mom is very sick, and I don't mean needy, I mean sick, physically ill, then I would not spend the night. Money. I doubt seriously that they're going to need money in the new community. Usually things are run through the office. So if they go out to eat, the office will pay for it and they'll bill you. Ask in advance if you need to have money there for your loved one. You can leave it a lot of times in the office and they'll put it in a safe, and then they'll just take it out when they go out for wings and beer or whatever it is they're doing. But your loved one probably does not need to keep credit cards and cash in their room. What happens a lot of times when people move into communities is they get very nervous about what's going to happen to their belongings. They're worried that something's going to be stolen, and so they start hiding things. I actually had one resident, she had a necklace, and I guess she was convinced this necklace was worth a lot of money or something, because she was hiding it all the time. She didn't hide her money, she didn't hide her cash, but she hid this necklace all the time. My favorite place she ever hid it was behind a picture, meaning she took the picture off the wall, hung the necklace up on the nail, and then rehung the picture. So this poor lady had some serious memory problems, but she was excellent at hiding stuff, and it drove her daughter crazy. So finally someone said to her daughter, maybe just take the necklace away. Maybe just take it away. Tell her you put it in the safe. Just take it away. So what was funny is the daughter actually took the necklace away, and she never asked for it. And the stress was gone. What was stressing her out was trying to keep that necklace safe, and the stress was gone, and she went on and enjoyed her life. Your community will give you a list of things to bring. It will usually look like a college dorm list with sheets and towels and toiletries. But in addition to that, don't forget that if your loved one needs a walker or a wheelchair, of course, to bring that. Make sure you ask permission before you bring alcohol into any community. That is a touchy subject for some communities. So most places you have to have a prescription from a physician in order to bring alcohol into the community. So ask that question before you do it. And guys, please don't try to sneak things in. So if your loved one is a diabetic, I actually had one lady that she was putting cupcakes and like Little Debbie's and things like that, and she was hiding them in like inside her hygiene bags, inside her hygiene items. And so this lady had diabetes, and her sugars would shoot up to like 350, and then the staff would freak out, and they were trying to control her diabetes with her diet, and they couldn't do it because the family was sneaking food in. So please don't do that. This team is there to help your loved one and to help you, and you really don't want to work against them. You want to work with them. So honesty is always the best policy when it comes to that. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe so that you'll be alerted the next time I upload. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.